This is the hottest radio station.
Miami, baby.
100 Degree Radio.
Estás escuchando DJ BYP Dipper.
The name says it all.
Hopefully y'all came today, not because somebody pinched you and pulled your ear and made you come, but we're just glad that y'all are here. So as we attempt to, paint the picture, let's have some fun. Hopefully y'all came.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to our session today. DJ Stories is what we're talking about. And I got a double-sided story for you, obviously. There's the natural way of how I became a DJ. So, as the story goes, way back yonder, around the 80s, b-boy, breakdancing, etc., etc. So, I used to listen to, I'm gonna give some props to my old dude, Frank Ski. He used to bring to DC that NYC b-boy and MCing. So we heard all the slick rigs early and everything straight out from the hood when we didn't travel down there. Unless, sometimes we travel right down there ourselves to be a part of it. Straight on cardboard boxes and all. Anyway, long story short, he had a radio program. Frank Ski had a radio program, and he used to play like some of the latest hits, stuff that wasn't even out because it was literally underground. So the mainstream radio wasn't kicking all the top stuff. Certain artists that got out of there, got out of the box, they were pick and choose, and y'all already know the funny history about that. So anyway, long story short, I was like, I like 80%, 70%, sometimes 60% of his show. The music that he would have on his show, to any given mixture of music. And it wasn't, at that time, it wasn't really like a live DJ playing in the background, like we got nowadays, live DJs just playing the sets and stuff. So what I would do back in, yes, the tape days, I would tape record the whole thing, and I would edit stuff out that I didn't really like, and I would make my own tapes off of his tapes. And the reason for that, it was for my listening. It had nothing to do with me making tapes, trying to reproduce his tapes or anything like that. But it was just good music, and I was like, oh, I like this. As a b-boy, I like this, and I like that, and I like this. So, long story short, friends, obviously, it first happens with friends. They started to get to listening to some of the tapes that I made, and they was like, oh, man, that's lit. Where'd you get that from? Well, I made it off of such and such. So, as normal, you would send the user to the source. And them like me, you know, they would be like, oh, a lot of the stuff, you know, is really nice, you know, or this week it was alright, you know, a couple of the hits weren't really hits, but some of the stuff was nice here. And I would take all the top hits. To me, what was the top hits? It's not always the top hits, but I would take all the top hits to me and put them in one bundle. And so, long story short, friends loved that. And they would start asking me for the tapes. Bing! Light bulb ain't go off for months, maybe a year or so. But all in all, what happened is people loved my mixes. So it was like a pre-mixtape before the mixtapes. So we used to do that. That fast forwarded to the point of I started hanging around some other friends in the industry. Now at that time I was doing sub MIDI work for studios, MIDI engineer. I was a MIDI engineer before the DAWs came out, all of that stuff. And I was kind of getting along in the production. So I started getting into DJing. And I was playing some stuff. I learned all my music from a lot of my big brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and stuff like that. So I knew all the 70s stuff. And voila, same thing as the mixtapes. It was like, oh, this song. So I would collect only songs that I like, you know, if it was singles. If it was from an album, I would play only the songs that I like. Long story short, my taste was decent, and I'm being humble. My taste was decent, real decent enough to where a lot of people liked that, and they wanted to hear it. And then later, obviously, only months later, it became live, a DJ. So it was a natural born thing. I always had a inclination for music, so music was always in the subject, and that's the short story. With a little bit of a long emphasis, but that's the short story of it. All right, now we're gonna fast forward. Obviously, this channel right here is our gospel channel. So you want to hear how this concept got started. So let's fast forward to that. We're gonna do the long short story of that too. So after all that passed, so obviously you already know the roots. Original hip hop. That was the foundation. Original hip hop, R&B, old 70s funk, dance, disco, aka nowadays house, etc. So I played all of those formats and stuff, and my business still plays those formats. We do weddings, high-end weddings, destination weddings, and things like that from a DJ perspective. But we also do high-end photography and videography and stuff. AKA gonna be in the link idproductions.com. So fast forward, me and a brother, close brother of mine, AKA Double A Ron, Nightlight Ministries. Well, his vision, and he has to tell his own vision. I'm gonna have him do his own interview of his side. However, I was already in the scoop, so I was like, man, from the church side, I grew up on some choir and some traditional stuff. Some stuff that I still like to this day, I keep in my back pocket. You know what I'm saying? I only listen to on my personal time, like when I'm in that zone for it. However, years down the line progressed and music changed, as it always does change. Obviously, I can get into long stories about how Mahalia Jackson was the blues, and they used to persecute her in the church because you were singing the blues. And now, well, I mean, even beyond nowadays, like back a decade, 2 decades, even 3 decades ago, her stuff was considered now traditional. Foundation, she was blues. Blues of its day, of the 70s, 60s, 70s era, etc. So that became that, that blues type of singing, that choir, If you know a little history of here and there, you'll know some Ray Charles. Obviously, he stole some of his stuff from what he heard in the church. He liked that rhythm. He liked that flow of how the church did it. And he made his regular stuff. Endless stories with that. All right, so to the Christian side. Later on down the years, before I started grabbing some other stuff, and before stuff was available, I was like, man, I got to get back into my culture except with the word. And I meant hip-hop culture, because that was me all day. I was every aspect, still am, every aspect, the DJ, the MC, production, and the B-boy. So all of that. I'm proud to say, not now, but back then, I was undefeated. I never got defeated. I could get defeated right now, but I didn't challenge. However, in my days, I was never defeated. Wasn't the best of the best, but I was very good at what I was. And all the challenges that I got in, I never got beat. So, on the B-boy. So, anyway, I had the 3 elements. I was born with the 3 elements, etc. So they was already there. Obviously, this is one of the elements right now that I'm currently on. Some of you probably haven't heard my MC side. I have some of that coming up. We got some new videos that we're going to be doing later on. I'm going to be getting back into that. And the B-boy is good just for exercise nowadays. I mean, and everything else. Like I said, when we do some videos, I'm probably going to show a little old skills in it. Anyway, long story short, I was like, I had to get back into that hip-hop element. And I was like, man, I need stuff because I ain't feeling the choir like that. And full disclosure, there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of God's music in that sense. But that's one statement. The other statement is you have the option of loving whatever style of music that you love with the message being the gospel. And in this case, voila, we were the foundation of the element of hip hop, aka CHH now, Christian hip hop, but it's hip hop. Same thing. R&B, same thing. Some people like to get indignant and call it rhythm and praise. It's rhythm and blues, because if you can sing about God, bring me through my problem, that's blues. God, get me over this hump right now so I can pay rent, that's blues. I don't care what you say. It's blues, R&B. All right, so, but the message is the gospel. Same thing on and on, house, dancehall, reggae. Funny thing, reggae, dancehall have always had the elements, because it was always the elements of the church. From the islands, if you ever been to the islands, that's their music, period. So there was no cultural shift of traditional non-dancehall and reggae. That when they sang the gospel, it was the gospel in reggae or dancehall. And now rhythm and all the other newer branches that branched off to that. So anyway, fast forward to several decades up. Me and a friend of mine, as I mentioned earlier, DJ AA Ron, aka Aaron from Nightlight Ministries, we had a collective vision. I was the house DJ, or I was the resident DJ, and he had the vision to wanting to start a Christian club. So we did so. Now, the hard part about that, at that time, we're in the foundation before you have what you have right now, before you have what I can give you, what you see on the channel. We was picking and choosing. We was running across other MCs like myself throughout the states, Georgia, Atlanta, New York, California. Obviously, you know about Gospel Gangsters. They were some of the early pioneers. They weren't first. It was some way before them. But they was some of the first to put it on the map, and they were some of the first to get put on the map through artists like Kirk Franklin and things like that, who was like, hey, I'm feeling what y'all doing. But either way, we were underground. It was underground gospel. this right now, which is open, what you see on the channel, gospel music mixes, top 40, R&B, hip-hop, dancehall, go-go, house, etc. We were underground. Gospel, underground. Hitting the streets, passing out tracks, all the good stuff that still should be going on to this day, because we're about to exit out of this place. But anyway, so that's the long short story to that. Couple of decades after that, we started the Christian Club. We would do it like once a month. We would do a grand event like once a month. People knew who he was in the DC area, New York area. We linked up with groups like Cross Movement later on down the line. We knew them personally. They knew what we was doing. They came to perform at some of our Christian Club events. We used to rock. We met them both from that underground network and the college campus, because we used to do work with Howard University, Howard U in the house. So we used to do a lot of stuff with that ministry. I got to give a shout out to my brother Chris Worthy. And it's a lot of people that was on that ticket that we did some stuff with. I'm gonna give them a shout out also for all the ministries in a write up later on. So anyway, that's how we became who we were. Now, fast forward another decade or so, we started rocking the skate ring also. Late night gospel night. We were powerful, more powerful than some regular nights. Friday night, we had a Friday night, 11 o'clock to 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., over 400, 500 deep, packing out the skating ring. This is at night, gospel, and it was my format, top 40s. Nothing old, nothing trick. The only people to this date that would get played on our format that was not one of those genres that I just gave you would have been like a Fred Hammond stuff and a Kirk Franklin. Those were the only choirs, and it wasn't their choir stuff that got played. It was their contemporary stuff that could pass on there, because we didn't have the rack of R&B like we have nowadays. Like, oh man, I can kill it. But between hip hop and R&B, boom. Reggae, dancehall, I can set it all. I'm gonna do a couple of all nothing but reggae. So we got one already done on our other channel, my DJ channel, DJ Links. That channel promotes pretty much the business, ID production. Obviously, we do DJ services, so that channel promotes this. This is our 100% gospel 24-hour radio station. So anything you hear on this channel is all gospel. So that's that. Now, with that being said, like I said, we had that skate ring, the gospel night, late night gospel night. Got a lot of those people. They're gonna come back. Some of those people are linked up from the DC area to check out what we do. Pass the word around for people, especially the youth nowadays, that like I say, it's okay to be in whatever zone, whatever arena you want to be in. We had a specific calling for this, and it's not a separation of anything. It is a isolation of feeling and directive. So this is the directive that we've been given, that we were inspired to have: the hip hop, the R&B, the dancehall, the go-go, the house, etc., the EDM Christian music. Some of the slow stuff we'll play slow jam hits, which is still kind of under the R&B side mostly, but we'll play a little CCM, light rock Christian on there, because they got some real nice worship songs that we can blend into our late night sessions and so forth. So that's the vision. That sums it up. And trust me, this is the short story. That sums up who we are, what this channel is about. Miami 100 Radio, gospel radio. The vision is to be bigger than YouTube and to actually be an actual broadcast, to go broadcast. So we'll see. Check us out, Kathy Hughes. If you feeling some investment for the youth, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's the vision. That's the vision from a short. But that's my DJ story. Just from a wrap it up. Sometimes, one day I'm gonna just go into the whole story, but I want to do that on a panel because we're gonna be spending some time getting that done. Right now, this is a short edit, and that's how we go. But that's the story. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being a part. Hopefully y'all enjoy all the music that we got for y'all. I am not the only DJ that's gonna be rocking on here. Obviously, I'm the house DJ. And I'm the head of that, but we're gonna have a lot of other Christian DJs debuting, some coming out, some that already exist. And I do raid trains, top 40s gospel raid trains on Twitch. You can check out Twitch out, which is my signature DJ _ BYP Dipper _ gospel mixes on Twitch. All those links will be added. They're already added. So you can check out those that link in there. We do gospel raid trains. I got a lot of other DJs that we work with when we doing those, and we're gonna set it off. Again, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being a part. Don't forget, press that like button, press that subscribe button, and what's the other button? Share it. Share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that you know that like this. And even if you may have came across this and he's like, God bless your soul, young man. I can't listen to that boomity-bappity stuff, but God bless your soul, and I'll give this to my nephew. Share that link with your nephew, your grandson, depending on how ancient you might be and stuff like that. Share that with the young generation, with that next generation, that Joshua generation that's ready to get off like they're getting off and doing their side of the ministry that God has given them in their heart to do. Share those links, blow it up, blow the channel up, y'all. Show us some love, and I promise you, we'll keep doing what we're doing. We'll do it better each day as we go along. Peace out.
In his name. How many know that's a fact? Clap your hands, everybody in here.